I first started playing guitar in 1985, and I didn't even get my first amp till the summer of 87. It was an 85-watt Gorilla, it had a little 10-inch speaker and sounded horrible, but it was loud and would keep up with a drummer. Now, I've owned several amps since then, that's for sure. I picked up a bunch of different solid-state heads during the 90s and finally got my very first tube head, a Mesa Dual Rectifier, in the fall of 2000. It was a wedding present of myself. That amp went on to be the one used on the first two Woods of Ypres records. All you black metal fans know the sound of that amp. And, you know, it's progressed ever since. The whole thing being it's been very difficult to learn how to record these amps over the years. However, I just started playing with a plugin this morning from the company Blob Audio. And I just dropped this into a mix and I got this. Bicrom, they don't even try to make it difficult anymore. I mean, it's just throw it up and it sounds good. I mean, like, what more can you ask for? The big question, of course, is should I even bother with real amps anymore? Should I start selling them off? Should I throw them in the garbage? What do you guys say? I want to hear from you. Seriously, though, I'm pretty blown away by what you can get with just VST plugins these days. I mean, like, amp sims have come a very long way over the last 10 years or so that I've been doing this show. I mean, the first hardware units were terrible, and then they started getting better, and then they started getting really good with the axe effects and whatnot, and they started getting better and better and better. And then, you know, I remember about 4 years ago, the software started getting good. It still needed a bit of tweaking, but it was starting to get pretty good. And then now we get this insanity. I mean, come on, this is just nuts. Before we even get into this, I just want to say the name of the program is called Blob Narok. It's by a French company called Blob Audio. I've worked with these guys before, and the reason I'm working with this today is because it's got a 7-day free trial. So it's not even going to cost you anything. You know, before we even get into it here, if you want to check it out, links are in the description below. Go check it out for 7 days and see if it will work with your workflow. Just wanted to make that point before we jump into it. The thing I love about this, the reason why I agreed to do this video is because it sounds so good right out of the box. It's going to help you achieve your goals of a great mix without any dicking around. I mean, I do Monday mix reviews and I hear what you guys are sending me, and you know, it's kind of a weird mixture at this point right now, because I do get some mixes where the guitars sound great, and then I get a lot of mixes where the guitars sound awful, and I'm like, why aren't you guys using software? Look, I get it. Miking a live amp is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of dedication and perseverance to really break through and figure out what works and what doesn't. The great thing is now we have software like this that just does the thing. You can turn it on, plug in your guitar, and work on your performance instead of worrying about how it's going to sound. I mean, for me, it took me nearly a decade to learn how to record guitar. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't want to do that. You just want to plug in and go and work with something that sounds good. Here's something that sounds good right out of the box. I mean, like, that's just a preset. All I've done was put it into high gain mode. That's it. And this is the thing, I've worked with a couple of other plugins like this where it sounds great right out of the box too, but they're pretty bare bones. This one's like a full featured thing. It's working on this whole Norse mythology aesthetic, I guess. We've got 3 different amps in here. We've got the Odin, the Loki, and the Thor, and that's what I'm using here. I mean, like, okay, Thor said, get it? Yeah, okay. Very clever, guys, seriously. But it definitely delivers the good as far as the tone's concerned. You know, I just want to go lay waste with that kind of thing. The great thing is if you don't like the default sounds, you've got options. You just hit the plus button here and you've got a selection of mics to work with. And you can change up the tone real simple. And then change your mic position. Okay, that was a real cool tone shift, real easy to do, and I didn't even have to change my pickups to make that happen. Hey guys, I really need to mention something very important here. Did you know that 57% of the viewers of Spectre Sound aren't actually subscribed? I've been struggling for years trying to build this thing up, and I'm more than happy to make videos, and I certainly don't charge for them, that's for sure. I would really appreciate it if you guys could do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It would seriously be a massive help to the show. Thank you so much. I've always been saying sounds in the speaker, and the great thing is you can work with external impulses and just do your own thing if that so pleases you. Now, this is a rudimentary IR loader. I wish they could load like 2 or 3 IRs, but this is what they give you, only one. And I will say this, the communication with Blob has been fantastic. I was working with an earlier version of the software, and it wasn't quite loading up my IRs the way I'd like to see it happen. And the communication back and forth has been great. They said, hey, you know what, let's take a look at that. And they sent me a new version. And you know what, no problems here at all. That's super cool. So hats off to Blob Audio for not only having great communication, but making a fix happen like within a couple of days. Like, that's a great job, guys. Well done. And that's what I think a lot of software developers need, is great communication with their user base. So at the very least, these guys stand behind what they're making. Now, of course, they make this super easy to turn off the internal cabinet and work with an external IR loader. Say like I'm working with Prism here. Once again, that's using my free IRs that are up for grabs. All you got to do is follow the link in the description and get yourself a copy of those as well. Now, once again, this is all software. This is all just on the computer, no external hardware needed. And this is going for $110 for the entire suite. You get 3 amps. Once again, you've got the Thor, you've got the Loki, and you've got the Odin. So that'll give you the 3 amps plus an entire suite of effects. I mean, you got your reverbs, delays, there's even a arpeggiator, a Leslie, there's multiverse. I don't know what the hell this thing is. This is some kind of insane harmonizer. I started playing around with it. I'm like, nope, not for me. But if you want to get into some freaky effects, I'd highly recommend diving into that one. And then you've got this whole rack of like external effects, like a couple of different types of EQs, a compressor, transient response. Really, guys? Wow. And a limiter as well. And then, stomp boxes, which is cool as well. Now, when it comes to leads, personally, I just like a little bit of delay, and the one that it comes with really does the job. Yeah, that's super cool. I got no problem with that. Now, one thing I want to make note of is it does have the typical Blob audio extras like stereo mode, headphone mode, all kinds of stuff like that. So that's straight up mono, and we've got the stereo split thing here. It's fun, but I wish we had like a knob or something where we could dial it in or adjust it, because it's kind of pulling to the right a little bit. At least on my system it is. I'd much prefer something where we had like maybe a wet dry control for that, but it's pretty cool. And then we've got a headphone mode as well. So if we're playing through headphones like on our laptop or something, it'll do the spatial thing, but it does a little bit of an EQ adjustment as well to help you give more of a live sound. Of course, we've got a really killer metronome, and the tuner on here is quite excellent as well. I'm pretty impressed with this one. And I love how it just automatically mutes. Oh yeah, boy, we could have used those back in the 80s, automatic muting tuners at band practice. That way the drummer would stop throwing his sticks at the guitar player. That's some of the metal stuff. We've got another amp here. This is called the Odin, and this is a little bit more rock and roll. It's maybe a little bit more martially. Once again, you can set up the cabinet however you want, and it's a pretty wide variety of tones we're getting here. yeah, that's all kinds of fun. Personally, I kind of like the Thor just a little bit better than the Odin, but that's just me. Hey, you might be into something a little bit different. Now, before I get ahead of myself, I almost forgot. The entire suite here is $110 as an introductory price, but if you want to break it up and maybe only get one of the amps, if that's the sound you want, you can say get the Thor for only $69. Pretty damn cool. Gotta say, the one thing I like about the Thor is it is dead simple. It's almost impossible to make sound bad. They didn't even give you a gain knob. You just got to switch here. High, medium, and low. So all you Edge of Breakup guys, oh, what about Edge of Breakup tone? Yeah, okay, you guys have fun with that. Now, the one thing I love about Blob audio plugins is they really do think of everybody with these things. They have an outstanding fuzz on this thing. If you're into like stoner rock, say like Caius or Fu Manchu, ho, damn, you are hooked up. That is just super cool. I absolutely love that. And they even threw in an octaver as well. This is just crazy. That's just all kinds of fun. I really should play with that a little bit more. Honestly, if I had a stoner band come in, I'd seriously be thinking about taking some dry tracks off the guys when they're tracking just to run them through this because it does the fuzz thing so well. I actually pulled up a copy of In Search Of earlier this day. It was kind of A-B in the two. I'm like, wow, they really nailed it with this one. Now, of course, a bunch of you guys are probably asking, but what about clean sounds, Glenn? I'm like, yeah, I think it does it. Yep, definitely does cleans. All right, of course, for me, the biggest thing, the most important thing, the thing I'm looking for is how well it's going to work in a mix. Because, I mean, like, let's face it, this is what a lot of us are doing. We're working at our desktops, we're writing songs, and we want something that's going to do the job. Let's listen to that mix one more time, this time all the way through, and it also has a lead on it. Hit it! Now, I guarantee a bunch of you are just sitting there going, Glenn, what the hell are you doing with the bass? That's the third module in this thing. That's the low-key bass amp. It'll work with guitar, but it's designed for bass, and gotta say, it's kind of fun. That's actually kind of cool and very thoughtful that they put this in. I gotta say, that's kind of a nice touch. I mean, like, yeah, if you're sitting at home and you're composing and you need something to work with your bass line, hey, this is built right in. Pretty cool idea, in my opinion. Now, granted, that's not the processing I'm using for bass on the full mix. That's something entirely different that's going to be shown on the show, hopefully in the next few weeks, if all goes well. We'll have more on that in the very near future, hopefully. Seriously, though, if you want to check this out, I'd highly recommend it because it sounds great out of the box. It's going to work. It's going to give you the sound you're looking for. And the best part is you can try it out for 7 days for absolutely nothing. What are you guys sitting there watching me for? Go follow the links in the description. Check it out for yourself. If you like it, you can get the whole thing for like $110 as an intro price. And if you only want one module, it's only going to be $69. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of a no-lose situation. Once again, I love working with companies like this because they really make this easy for the consumer to get a good value for their money. They can try it out on their own and just see how it works with their own workflow. But yeah, once again, don't take my word for it. Go check it out. Try it on one of your mixes and see what kind of results you get. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I know that more than half of you guys aren't actually subscribed, and I really need your help to make that happen. Seriously, if you guys who aren't subscribed would actually hit that subscribe button, I could literally get my gold play button in about 6 weeks. Please consider that as a personal favor. I'd very much appreciate it. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Got a bunch more cool stuff coming up over the next couple weeks, including one of my absolute favorite guitar mics that isn't actually designed for guitar. That's going to be super cool. Make sure you're subscribed for that so you get notified when it comes up. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. And until then, be excellent to one another.